What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and I wanted to talk today about what we've seen, this new mysterious force power that we've seen in the Star Wars leaks for Rise of Skywalker, and possibly how that may have been influenced by the expanded universe. Because as we know, even though that Kathleen Kennedy likes to say that we don't have any source material, we don't have any comic books, we don't have any novels, we know where they really get so much of their inspiration from. And it's the expanded universe, because, I mean, this is a thing that lasted over 30 years, had tons of story, built a ton of lore. So even though they said they didn't want to follow the storylines, they do still utilize bits and pieces of it and try to claim it as some brand new thing that they have come up with. But I wanted to get into, so spoilers ahead, if you don't want any spoilers for Rise of Skywalker, potential spoilers, because, again, these are just rumors. These are just rumors. But I wanted to get into something. So, now, I have in front of me the Reddit leaks from Jedi Praxis, and the new Force ability that no one's seen before is Force Healing. And it's in canon, in Disney Star Wars canon, you know, all the movies, Clone Wars, and from 2014 on, in all the canon, there's only one instance of any Force Healing, and that is in a mobile video game called Star Wars Uprising. And I've never played it. The only thing I imagine is there's a move that your character can heal themselves and heal hit points. Very similarly to the healing that we have in several games like KOTOR or Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, Dark Forces, things like that. You get a force ability called Force Heal, and you can recover your HP. However, in canon, that's the only time we've ever seen that before. And it's really not, they really don't explain it at all. Now, JJ Abrams has said that he wanted to introduce these new things, and we'll see how new they are when we actually see them. But I wanted to read right here where it comes up. A battle with the sandworm ensues, and our heroes end up backed into a corner, preparing to meet their fate, when Rey notices a detail. The worm is injured. In a display of previously unknown power, Rey is able to heal the worm's injuries, satiating the worm and providing the heroes the chance they needed to escape. So, Rey is able to heal a worm's injuries instantly. That's what it says. Now let me go down here. Alright, so for a second time in the Rise of Skywalker leaks, Rey uses this ability. So, it says, in the aftermath of their duel, so Rey has stabbed Kylo through the chest. Rey declares to Kylo that she will never be like him and fall to the dark side. She exercises her newfound healing ability to save Kylo from death. And then it goes on. And then in the ones that just came out the other day, we got more information, which this is what made me really think of the expanded universe and where they got this inspiration. And it's right here. Here it is. This talks about what happens. So Rey dies while killing Palpatine. That's this new leak that's come out. Ben climbs out of a pit to find a dead Rey and decides to give his life for her. He uses the healing trick to save Rey, but draining his life force in the process. So now that we know that this healing ability is going to be this new trick, this brand new thing that JJ is trying to introduce to the Star Wars universe, I wanted to take a second and talk about where I think he got the inspiration maybe for this whole life force, for saving them from literal death. Now, in the expanded universe, we saw tons of examples of force healing. Now, there were specifically Force healers. There were healers for the Jedi, and it's traditionally a light side associated power. Now, there were some dark side Force users that were able to heal themselves, but that was a little more few and far between than light side. And it was basically kind of standard Jedi training, especially in the New Jedi Order, to be able to have some degree of Force healing. Typically, that's for use on yourself or just very basic things for others. And that's not really like magically healing a wound. What that's more akin to is using the Force to quicken the healing process for yourself, to, you know, force more blood flow, force more chemicals, force wounds to close up a little faster than they normally would. It's just getting the process along. It's not like some magic thing for most people. Now, there were some people that were very talented and could use Force heal abilities to not quite instantaneously, but fairly quickly heal others. Now, that usually required very deep meditation. It's not something they could do on the fly or while moving or anything like that. It typically required, you know, a pretty deep meditation to heal people in that kind of way, in that serious of a manner. We saw several instances of healers that were able to do things like extract poisons from people's bodies, heal up wounds, things like that. But one healing technique that I wanted to talk about was one that Cade Skywalker uses, and that's Dark Transfer. Now, Dark Transfer was an extremely rare force ability that allowed the user to bring others back to life from the brink of death, so saving them from mortal wounds. And there's only one person that we've seen in the expanded universe have this ability, and that is Cade Skywalker, a descendant of Luke Skywalker. Now, he's from the Legacy era, which I've been covering a little bit on my channel. But he uses it to resurrect several people, but it takes a toll on him because he has to use the dark side to do it. And that's really the only thing that you find is the toll, and he has to use dark side to access this power in order to heal people. And it turns out by the end of the comic that there does come a time when he's able to use it just using the light side. With his love for the people in his life, he's able to access and use this ability. Now, this ability is kind of like the Shatterpoint ability. He kind of uses it in tandem with the Shatterpoint ability. And, you know, he has a quote. He has a quote here. He can use it for good or bad. I got this crazy healing ability. I can see the weak points in you like little broken red lines. I can see where you got wounded recently. I could heal that hurt. Pour the force into the place where the red lines intersect. Or maybe I could explode that point. Kill you. Interesting idea. Should we try? So when you look at some of these images of, you know, Cade Skywalker using this ability on people who have been killed or are very near death, that is what really jogged my memory when I thought of this ability that Kylo is, or Ben at this point, is going to be using on Rey, according to the leaks. Now, when we talk about this high price to pay, for Cade, he didn't die. It was more that he was just getting dangerously close to giving in to the dark side, because it was a dark side ability. But it seems in this one they're using, you know, some kind of healing ability that it literally he's giving up his life essence for Rey, or that's what it seems to be. And I guess time will tell when we see this movie, not in theaters, but when we do see this movie, we'll get a better idea of what exactly they're trying to get across, how this healing works, if they're going to explain it all. Obviously, a lot of things in the sequel trilogy haven't been explained necessarily too well, and we still have a lot of questions. However, hopefully we'll get a better idea of what exactly that's coming from. If they were inspired by anything from the expanded universe, I think they likely were. But again, it's just my speculation, and that's what I thought of was Dark Transfer when I read those leaks. So what are you guys' thoughts? I want to hear what you think about this new healing ability. If you think that they just magically came up with this themselves, because JJ said they wanted new and unique force abilities, or if they pulled it from the expanded universe. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.